Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and today we're going to be playing some more standard 2020 or rotation proof decks. So what we are playing here is a Bant Reclamation deck. So we played the Niv Mizzet version yesterday, so that was a Teamer variant. So it had some promise. I liked the deck, it was fun. It had that combo finish with Explosion. That was one way to kind of sneak out a win out of nowhere. So what Bant gives us, so switching the red for the white will allow us to have a little bit more control elements. We get a dedicated board wipe, and we get some ways to gain life and a mana sink to allow us to have like creatures created. What we don't get is the one-shot kind of KO effect. So what we'd have in this deck, so the core of the deck is the same. We have the Root Snares, we have the Growth Spirals to get ahead on mana, we have Frilled Mystic and Sinister Sabotage as counters, Chemister's Insight as card draw that can be flashed back, Wilderness Reclamation, which allows us to double up on our mana, Tamiyo to help us dig. But what we change with adding white in, and sorry for hearing my dog grumble like a car engine. She wants me to give her pets. But we have Dawn of Hope is the main win condition for the deck. So what you can do is each turn float all your mana, make a bunch of 1/1 creatures with lifelink, and then whenever we gain life we get to draw cards. So kind of just all self-contained within this win condition. So then we also get Teferi that can help prevent our opponent from either countering our stuff, interacting. It'll help us resolve a Wilderness Reclamation. And then we can bounce some troublesome permanents. We have Absorb in this matchup, or this version of the deck, as opposed to Ionize. So gaining the 3 life is probably more relevant than the 2 damage. March of the Multitudes. So I have a couple cards that I just want to try out first in these initial versions, and then we'll probably try to come to a more refined version. So March is a win condition that we can double up our mana on our end step to get a lot of tokens, or we can do a smaller one on end step and then just try to attack in. But this is something I want to try out. And then we have Angel of Grace to reset our life total, or if we're going to be dead that turn, we can set it to 1. Time Wipe is the board wipe that we were missing from the Teamer version. Found a couple games, especially against early aggro, we had a hard time. And Emergency Powers is something I want to try out. So we probably won't be casting it as often in our main phase to get the extra bonus for addendum. But it's a way for us to kind of shuffle in all our spells and kind of get going again. I don't know if it's worth it without Narset to kind of one-side lock the opponent, but we'll give it a shot. The other alternatives I was thinking of was either Finale of Revelation to be able to refill our hands, or commence the end game so we get an amassed token and we can attack in there. So I'm going to try Emergency Powers first. If we don't like it, we can always switch it. Mana base wise, we got some basics, all the shocks. So unlike the Teamer version where we had 8 scry lands, we only have 4 in this version. So I'm playing some life gain lands in the form of Tranquil Cove and Blossoming Sands. But we'll give this one a shot. We'll see how it goes, and we can always revise as we go along. If you're tuning in live on Twitch, there should be the overlay button right about here that you can see my deck list. So I'll try to update that throughout the stream if we make any changes. This was a request from the last stream, so it's something I wanted to just add to improve the quality. And if you're on YouTube, you can check out the deck list in the video description down below. So like we have with the other versions of these rotation proof decks, we're going to be playing the Play Standard event. So I know Opt is a card that is legal. I'm not too sure if it's allowed in this format right now. But without Search for Askant in these decks, I don't think we're as pressed to fill our graveyard as quickly. So I'd prefer more multi-card draws or filtering, stuff like that. And we also have a lot more lands that are coming into play tapped on turn 1. So Opt loses some of its value in compared to like the Simic Nexus deck that usually leads off with like a basic island. So we'll run it through some matches. As always, if you're tuning in live on Twitch, thanks for stopping by. If you're catching this on YouTube, All the content that I stream live is always uploaded to YouTube. You can always find my deck list on Aether Hub, just searching up my name. If you're on YouTube, if you could drop a subscribe, or if you're on Twitch, if you could drop a follow. Both are free and easy ways to help support out the channel. And finally, if you're considering buying any cards for the new set, Throne of Eldraine, EDH, or anything in general, I do have an affiliate link with TCG Player in the video description down below. If you click that link, do your purchase as normal. It just lets them know that I sent you there, and it's another way you can help support the channel for free. So this hand I feel is a little bit of a trap. We aren't really going anywhere with ramp. We can dig, but I don't really like the emergency power, so let's mulligan. So this hand's a bit better. I'm probably going to bin one of the growth spirals, but the fact we can growth spiral on 2, have an absorb backup, and root snare is a little bit better. So really what we want to see some lands in this hand, and then a Wilderness Reclamation. Like, pretty much the nut draw you want in these decks is 4 lands, Growth Spiral, Wilderness Reclamation, and you just go from there. Okay, so this is a black-based deck. Could be black aggro. I actually like the Scryland here. The reason being is we can play it next turn with the Growth Spiral up. This might be mono black aggro. There's been a lot of good tools for mono black aggro from the new set as well. So it's something we'll take a look into to see. Okay, so it's Rakdos. This Root Snare will pull some weight. Binning the hand of double... okay, so they have Judith. So this is either some sort of Rakdos Aristocrats deck. Okay, so we have Reclamation. We have Teferi as well. Teferi's not bad because it lets us bounce the Judith or reset the Knight of Eben Legion. So I'm gonna Root Snare Growth Spiral this turn. And then we're trying to dig for a Time Wipe. Yeah, I think we just Root Snare here. Would have liked if we had the 5th mana to absorb whatever came down. Okay, so then Mayhem. Pop that down. So let's go to Teferi here.
I know my responsibility.
Probably Mayhem Devil.
Nothing.
It just taxes them the most on mana this turn. And then we could counter it on the way down. Teferi also gives them something to attack for the time being. So yeah, they take the bait there.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Just absorb here, we'll gain the 3 life back. Emergency powers. So we're 1 short here. So no, it didn't let me put a stop. Ah. So you gotta remember to put a stop in your end step, otherwise you can't play your spell. Seven. Ah, that was a loss. Okay, so something we need to do is once we have Reclamation Zone, we're ready, we need to remember to put a stop. The plan there was to emergency powers, refill our hand, and then hopefully get some card draw or a time wipe of some sort. But let's run it back. For those in chat, if you could just let me know if the extension, so like it should, when you hover your mouse like around here, it should pop up. Could you let me know if you're seeing the deck list overlay that pops up from there? I was fiddling around with it earlier. I just want to make sure it's working for viewers. I'll keep this hand. Temple. Yeah. So we need another blue source, but between a Growth Spiral and the Scry, we should be able to hit it. And then if we can go Absorb into Frilled Mystic into Angel, it could be a good disruptive turn. Also, the being on the phone, you can't see it, John? Okay. I don't know if it's just... we don't need that. Like web browser only. I'll play around with it a bit more to see. Okay, so Cavalcade coming in. So the fact they didn't have another creature bodes well for us. I would still like to hit another blue source that turns on Absorb and Frilled Mystic. Ew. We're probably dead. Okay, sweet, it works.
I'm happy as a hellion to start some fires.
So the one thing weak about this deck is when a Resolve Planeswalker comes down, we don't really deal with it, and Chandra puts a lot of pressure on us. I think we're just dead this turn, or this game. Gotta try to go Growth Spiral into Angel of Grace.
Go get him, buddies.
And the Scorcher. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Puts us down to 6. I'm gonna take it this turn and then Growth Spiral. And then either Root Snare or Angel of Grace. Okay, so we got the other blue source there. I'm gonna keep that as well. This lets us Root Snare and Frilled Mystic to counter what they have that comes down, or just Absorb.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
I might just Frilled Mystic to attack into Chandra. If they don't play anything else, we can just Chemister's Insight. But they got 4 cards in hand. This doesn't kill Chandra, which is a little awkward. There we go, Heartfire. I'm just gonna get the life. Emergency powers could come down. So we're just gonna go Angel this turn. Or actually, probably not Angel. Because Angel we want to do it when it's gonna get us down. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keeps us alive. Light up the stage. We're dead to a burn spell though. Okay. So we got Time Wipe. Doesn't actually do anything for us.
What the heck?
So we just do Angel of Grace this turn. And then we can attack Chandra, and we can also Time Wipe to bring it back to hand. We would have been in a lot better spot if they didn't have a Chandra down. So here we'll block the Scorcher. I might try... Do we try in a pinch to just emergency powers? To get a Wilderness Reclamation? Oh, we're short of mana. So I think... we just have to do this and hope they don't have a haste creature.
Time to sleep for a week.
Probably just bring Frilled back, because we can exile this to gain some life. Show me no haste creature. One time. Okay, they have 3 haste creatures. Okay, so the super aggressive decks that get under our counter is a little rough. And this is somewhere where when you're playing in a best of 3 format, we'd come in, we'd adjust their deck list, we'd have a little bit more early interaction. A card like Revitalize, which rotated out, is something that would have been useful here. Card draw with the life gain. I'm gonna try this hand. Any untapped blue or green source gets us Growth Spiral. If not, we have Dawn of Hope going. Yeah, I'll probably keep it. Depending on what this matchup looks to be. Okay, so Guildgate. This could be Drake's or something. Probably just set this up. Okay, so we don't want another Teferi. We can Growth Spiral next turn if we draw a land. Okay, it's Elementals. I'm actually just going to go with the tempo play here.
Sorry I'm late. No, I
Let's
am not
push
taking
some
this up
back.
as I go.
And okay, we draw into Time Wipe, which is nice. Next turn we could Reclamation and then hold up Growth Spiral. And then each turn we can start dropping our sorcery spells and then untapping. Okay, so we have Tamiyo after, which is nice to dig for stuff.
Let's try this.
So we can Growth Spiral and Dawn of Hope next turn, and then we get the untap. And then we can start making 1/1 tokens each turn. Probably dig for a second Reclamation too. That way we get 2 untaps. Ooh, this is interesting. Didn't expect the white. There's not really any white elementals. Other than the Cavalier, so they go Hydroid. So that could resolve. So let's just Growth Spiral here. Ooh, got March.
I'll protect you.
Probably just go Tamiyo. It's the most mana efficient.
Test a new hypothesis with you.
Because I want to dig for some lands.
Let me aid your research.
Okay, so we also got Chemister's Insight. Just have the stop on so we don't screw up. So we could counter what comes down this turn. Go after Teferi. I think that's fine.
It's only a matter of time.
I think just getting the counter off. Leafkin's okay. This might be a Golos deck, so I'm gonna cut them off mana. Okay, sweet. So I think we get back the absorb.
I have learned much from my ancestors.
We could go time wipe. We're short mana for time wipe. Okay, let's just get Donna Hope going. We can make a token. So it triggers on the stack. Oh, we actually can't make a token. So we'd have 3, that basically pays for absorb, so let's just do this. I think we get rid of... I don't think March we really need right now. We can get it back with Tamiyo afterwards. So what I'll probably do here is Root Snare Growth Spiral. I do like having Tamiyo out. It can keep getting us back these spells from our graveyard. Let's just Root Snare here. Because if they Golos, then they'll get Field of the Dead. That's my guess. Risen Reef, that's fine. We're gonna wipe the board this turn anyways with time wipe. Okay, this is a field deck. So, see what they do. We're gonna grow Spiral anyways. Blossoming Sand gains us of a life. They go another Crisis. It's actually fine if they're gonna do for so little. Ooh, Sabotage is nice to have too. So I'm gonna dig for another Reclamation.
I know I noted this somewhere.
Cool. So we got another one of those. I'm just gonna go time wipe. So I didn't put a stop on that end step because I want to keep up both my counters this turn. And then we can drop a Reclamation next turn and just start making a ton of tokens with Donna Hope and then try to beat them down that way. So they have the lands coming in, so that'll trigger Field of the Dead. We don't have an answer to Field of the Dead, explicitly the land, but we do have some form of board wipes. So here I'm going to absorb. They know about the absorb. They can get the card draw, but I don't want to deal with the creature. We can pay the 2 life as well, which is a nice interaction with Donna Hope. And we'll go to our turn. So we're going to put a stop in our end step. I think at this point we just bring back the absorb again. Or you know what, let's maybe... yeah, let's bring back the absorb.
No tail should be
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go Reclamation. So it's 2 mana. Just play this. Yeah, so We're going to tap our mana to make a bunch for Dawn of Hope. So we're going to resolve the first one. Float all our mana. Pay into it. Pay into it. And then we're just going to let the last one resolve and then hold up counters. So we can double block, we can draw some cards, and then we can just start to slowly try to grind them out that way. Might make sense to get the March back at a certain point. Just as a big, like, one-shot. Oh, another Reclamation. Okay, so now we can kind of start going crazy each turn. We get 3 untaps. Growth Spiral's fine. Concern for, like, Golos. Like, we make enough tokens every turn that we're okay. They've already gone through 3 Hydroid Crisis. It might make sense just to even play Jace in this deck and just try to draw ourselves out. Yeah, so this one gets countered for sure. And then we have to draw a couple cards. So we're going to name Time Wipe here with the Tamiyo. We need to find a board wipe. So I think we do the Scry first to see. It helps shape with Tamiyo.
Seek and find.
We have 3 in the deck. Cool. So we drew 1. And we got Angel of Grace that we can get back at a later turn. So I'm going to hit in for 1. We can draw some cards, and then we get to play Time Wipe. So I need double white up. Clean that up. Ah! Stop! Ah! One day I'm not going to mess that up. One day. I wish you can just keep the lock on instead of having to reset it each time. So agent can go away. Yeah. So we just kind of locked the opponent up. We screwed up there, but we would have had the lock in place. So, learning how to play Reclamation decks. I have not played much of the Simic version in the past. I found the Nexus version a little boring. Like, I love Golos Nexus, but you're attacking with creatures. You're basically just casting it for free. You're not just trying to win with Callous Dismissal. So this hand, we got some counters and Reclamation. We don't have a way to ramp out. We are on the play though, so we'll try it out. Generally lead with the blue-green source. We have perfect mana for a turn 2 Growth Spiral. So more aggro. It's actually not too bad. We shock next turn, and we can have up Absorb or Sinister Sabotage. Okay, this is Mardu Aristocrats. Yep. So we really want a Time Wipe here. We do need to shock ourselves. So the nice thing here, if they attack in and they pump, okay, they actually can't pump, so we're okay this turn. Let's Absorb here, gain the 3 life back. We do get to put a counter on this. Frilled Mystic's pretty good too, because if they do something on combat step, we can flash it in and then use it as a blocker as well. But worst case, we just do a Root Snare this turn. And then for next turn, I got my stop on. We're not going to forget it this time. I'm going to march and then just make a lot of 1/1s. Okay, so that's actually really good for us because now this comes down, counters that, and then we get a blocker. I'm okay to do this. It takes a body off the field, keeps our life total a little higher. So I'd like to see a land here. It's insight. I think we... Actually, we could insight and just Root Snare this turn. It gets us the land that we needed. Just pass turn. Put another stop in our end step. Because this shuts off... they might pump the mana in tonight, and no damage will be dealt, so they can't get back the other Gutter Bones. Mardu feels like an aggro deck with a bunch of 1-drops that has a bunch of tap lands. Let's see if they pump. So they didn't pump, so they want to play something else out. We also have the counter, which is nice too, so we can counter whatever comes down. Alright, so they don't commit anymore to the board. Pay 2 life here. And then we're just going to make a bunch of tokens with March. So let's go to end step. I might leave up a counter spell here. I think that's the safest route. That way we have blockers for the time being. And we can get 6 tokens. Oh, too much. And then these also help to gain us life back, which is nice. So like in this matchup, I don't think emergency power is what we want. Overall, I haven't been too pleased with it. This March has been okay. Opponent might have a spell, like a Mortify or something. But if they had a Mortify, I feel like there they go, Heartfire. Four damage is a lot. Root Snare, probably don't want at this point. We have the Time Wipe if need be. And then Insight can start helping us to dig. We can block, so as long as we can hold them from dealing damage, these Gutter Bones can't come out of the graveyard. A Teferi's not too bad here. We can bounce the Knight, reset those tokens, or these counters. Okay, Sorin.
Strife makes monsters.
Sorin can bring back either Fireblade or Cruel Celebrant. Gives them lifelink. They can also just start pinging us. But we can send 5 into it.
I demand.
Okay, they go Fireblade. Want to take Soren off the board?
I will spare you this time.
Play this now. Yes, we got another time wipe. So likely this turn is a time wipe turn. We're going to take the blocks here. It was just important to get Soren off the battlefield. If I was them, I'd probably like doing the Cruel Celebrant instead. Like with stuff dying, they get the advantage. Ooh, Tamiyo. Get back March of the Multitude. I think we use Time Wipe this turn though. It gets us a little bit further ahead. Cleans out their board as well. Doesn't matter what we return, they all die. So there's the Time Wipe Frilled Mystic interaction as well that works out really cool. Same with Angel of Grace. Pitless Pontiff is fine. So here...
You would make an excellent
do we go
informant
Donna
for my
Hope?
study.
Nah, I think we just go safe play. Let's go March.
The past is never forgotten.
So we have the stop. Add a bunch of mana. Yeah, buddy, I'm playing a card. So it's 3, X equals 7. So you do have to be mindful of the clock. Probably in best of 3. Post board, I'd probably play something like a Nisa. Okay, so Celebrant's there. It's not bad. It's a way that they can get these back. Frilled Mystic's nice. So I'm gonna look for Donna Hope here.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Both are Teferis. Take back a bit. So they get 2 blocks here, but we counter whatever they come down with. Tamiyo can also start getting back some more Donna Hopes, or March of the Multitudes. Yeah. This deck might want a bit more card draw. Teferi hasn't been that great, to be honest, so we probably just replace Teferi with something else. That's fine, the Pontiffs can't do that much here because they can only sack one other creature. So what I'm probably going to do is double block on this. I could have Frilled Mystic it, but this doesn't do too much. I'd rather deal with like a Judith or something like that, as it's our only counterspell in hand. they deal damage. Just go to our turn. Okay, so we got Absorb. Let's try to go Dawn of Hope again.
To the library.
Okay, so we got an Insight, which works out kind of nice. Gonna get rid of the Absorb at this point. Our life total's high enough. Just play out the other Reclamation. So next turn, we get back our Wilderness, or March of Multitudes, and then just generate, like, metric ton of mana and then go from there. Yeah, March has been actually really good. I like the interaction. We basically have had one and we've cast it. This will be 3 times we cast it with Tamiyo. The only nice thing is with Teferi, you can instant speed a time wipe. I want this to be a deck, but without an actual sack outlet, like paying a mana for this isn't really worthwhile. See what they're up to. Gutter Bones. It's fine. Comes into play tapped anyways. It'll get blocked by any of these tokens. Deals damage, they get it back. It's fine. We'll just play this out. And then we just big time march. They go Skewer. We counter this. This is probably a very annoying deck to play against. So we get March back.
I follow the tracks of the wise.
This is a free attack. Since we get all the March tokens coming down. We just want to put some pressure on their life total. Let's go to end step. I wish there was just like a float all option. Feel like we're trying to be as fast as possible. So here x equals 21. Alright, so pretty solid a march here. We technically could have convoked for a couple extra, but I think the points of damage work out just fine. We're pretty far ahead. Aristocrats generally doesn't play any sort of board wipe. If they played Massacre Girl, it would have hurt. So let's put... This will probably be indestructible. Just gain 17 life. They'll get the Cruel Celebrant triggers, but it won't actually do much. They can sacrifice any of these creatures so we don't gain the life. But this is what you need to do. Just gain a bunch of life. We were pretty low. We were under 10 in the early game. Stabilized. And Tamiyo March were the MVPs. So we'll just swing in here. And took him down. Alright. So this version seems a little bit more resilient. The Teamer one was more combo-y, so a little less consistent, but when it went off, it was a faster win. This one seems like we're recycling the same spells, bouncing, countering, gaining a bunch of life, which against the aggro decks actually makes a difference. The Teamer one, we had a Pulse of Marassa in there to gain some life, but it wasn't like a be-all, end-all. But that's pretty much the deck. I'm going to wrap it up now, eat some lunch, hopefully be back for another one either today or tomorrow. If you missed any part of this, I'll upload it to YouTube and it'll be up on Sunday. Thanks for those who tuned in live, and have a great rest of the weekend.